Okay, guys, I'm here for the 7th review in the Great American Bash review series, Great American Bash 1996. However, before I get to review this show, there's something that I want to talk about first. That kind of ties in with this show. And that is... And I do not like talking about this topic. I don't like talking about the death of any wrestler at times because it depresses me. And I don't like being depressed a lot. But shortly after I got done watching this show, I get a text, and the text tells me that Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, passed away today at the age of 69. And let me tell you something, I'm sad. I was sad to hear that. I was sad when Macho Man Randy Savage died. I was sad when the Ultimate Warrior died so suddenly after the Hall of Fame ceremony. I'm sad now because Dusty Rhodes has implemented over so many things in pro wrestling. He had so many ideas. Most worked, some didn't. And a lot of things were ideas of Dusty Rhodes. Take War Games, one of the most classic and beloved matches of all time. That was Dusty Rhodes' idea that he got after coming home from a hockey game. Starrcade was his idea. And Dusty Rhodes is one of the all-time great pro wrestlers, personalities that the business ever saw. He wasn't the best, he wasn't in the greatest in-ring shape, and he wasn't the greatest technical wrestler, but let me tell you the biggest thing and the most endearing legacy that the American Dream Dusty Rhodes will ever have. Dusty Rhodes could cut a promo like no one's business. Dusty Rhodes had that ability to connect with the crowd through any of his promos that he did. Dusty Rhodes was the greatest talker the business of pro wrestling has ever seen. And speaking as a person who has watched wrestling for the better part pretty much of 29 years, since I started watching it when I was 3 years old, and I'll be 32 in just a couple months, this is a huge loss for the wrestling industry because Dusty Rhodes even had some ideas when he came to the WWE, even though he wasn't in charge of anything. It was his idea for the concept of The Undertaker, WWE's most iconic character ever. He had the idea for the Shield, even though some people like say it was Punk's idea. No, it was Dusty Rhodes' idea, was the idea of the Shield. And this is a massive loss for the wrestling business. And I'm only bringing it up because Dusty Rhodes commentates this show of Tony Schiavone. This is the only WCW show that Dusty Rhodes and Tony Schiavone ever commentated without Bobby Heenan on it. And I thought that Bobby Heenan and Dusty Rhodes had the better chemistry with that three-man group. This is just sad. Because Dusty Rhodes' last TV appearance was at the Hall of Fame ceremony, if I'm not mistaken now. And this is one of those things that I don't like doing. And yeah, it could be a separate video, but talking about wrestlers' deaths is not something I like doing. But Dusty Rhodes just had the impact on the business that you could never imagine. Everyone knows some of Dusty Rhodes' most famous promos he's ever had, and it's a tremendous, tremendous loss that the wrestling world suffered today with the death of Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, at the age of 69. And let me just say that even though they may not be watching this, wrestling fans all over the globe, or at least the majority of us, and me myself included, send our heartfelt condolences to the family of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Of course, his two sons, Cody and Dustin, his grandchildren, including his granddaughter, Dakota. So, that's what I want to discuss about that. Now on to the Great American Bash 1996 review, because I need to cheer myself up a little bit. So, Great American Bash 1996 took place on June the 16th, 1996, from the Baltimore Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, back where the Great American Bash begun. 9 matches are on this show, so we have a 45 total star rating. Opening contest is Fire and Ice versus the Steiner Brothers, when there must be a winner. Okay tag match, 2-star tag match. It's a basic power versus power tag match. The Steiners win with a Frankensteiner. Fire and Ice would actually break up, I think, right after Bash at the Beach 1996. So 2 stars there. So then we get the WCW United States Championship match. Konnan versus El Gato from Mexico. Okay match. Nothing bad. 1.5 stars. Konnan does a sunset flip powerbomb to the outside and then does a powerbomb when El Gato's springing out of the corner. Konnan catches him in like a powerbomb maneuver, and that gets the win for him. 1.5 stars, not a terrible match. So then we get Diamond Dallas Page versus Marcus Alexander Bagwell of the American Males, which was for the Battle Bowl ring. 1 star here. DDP won with Diamond Cutter. So then we get the WCW Cruiserweight Championship match. Dean Malenko versus Rey Mysterio. In what is the match of this show and the match of the night? It's a 3.5 star match. Probably would have been 4, but I don't like that they had Malenko cheat to win this match with the foot on the ropes. This was Rey's debut in WCW, in case anyone didn't know that. This was Rey's debut in WCW, so it's a very short show on that count and something else that happened later. Like I said, this is a 3.5 stars. Yeah, it is a traditional cruiserweight match, but it's a good traditional cruiserweight match. 3.5 stars, Malenko won. Mysterio would win the championship right around Road Wild time from Dean Malenko. And then he lost it at Halloween Havoc 96 to Dean Malenko. This is their first meeting, and they had some classic meetings. So then we get the worst match on this show. The thing that really holds this show down. As it's Big Bubba versus John Tenta. 1/2 star. This is a generic big man match, and it's not really much of anything. Our match at Bash at the Beach 96 isn't that great either. 1/2 star. So then we get a Falls Count Anywhere match. Chris Benoit versus the Taskmaster, the Kevin Sullivan. Who, interesting note about Kevin Sullivan is that most people don't know, Kevin Sullivan actually booked his own divorce because he's the one who put Chris Benoit and Woman together. And eventually, well, everyone knows the story about that, about what happened to Chris Benoit and Woman. So Kevin Sullivan booked his own divorce, and he probably didn't realize what would have happened with Benoit and Woman when he did it. But it's one of those weird things. This is a 2-star Falls Count Anywhere match. It's probably most famous because they spent a good 5+ minutes in the men's bathroom. Finish comes with a superplex off the table. So that was and then the Horsemen get back together. So then we get Sting versus Lord Steven Regal. This is the most this is Lord Steven Regal's highest profile match he ever had in WCW, because unless you were working with the champion, I'd say Sting would have been the most high profile guy to work with in 96 at that time. Good match here. It's 2.5 stars. Sting won with the Scorpion Deathlock. I myself probably would have given the victory to Regal, but Sting won. Simple as that. Scorpion Deathlock. So then we get a tag match that's better than it actually has any right to be, as it's Steve McMichael and Kevin Greene versus Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. It's a generic tag match. It's 2.5 stars, but it's another one of those things that for WCW history is kind of a historic match. Now, this match is why Bobby Heenan's not on commentary for this match, because he's the coach for Flair and Anderson, and Randy Savage is the coach for McMichael and Kevin Greene. They kept it simple with a lot of the stuff McMichael and Kevin Greene did. They did backdrops, arm things, and things like that. Greene does the suplex at one point, then gets his knee taken out. I will say that both Mongo and Greene put on figure fours that weren't that bad. But eventually the finish comes. See, eventually Woman Elizabeth chased away both Debra McMichael and Tara Greene, who is Kevin Greene's wife. They get chased back to the back. And then Debra comes back out wearing a very good gown with a halberd briefcase and a Four Horsemen shirt. And Mongo turns on Kevin Greene by hitting Greene with the briefcase. And you can see Greene put his head down so his back takes the brunt of the shot. And Mongo then joins the Four Horsemen. So it's historic in that case. But the most historic thing that this event is known for is what happened after this. And it's an interview that Eric Bischoff did with the Outsiders, announcing that at Bash at the Beach, it would essentially be the whole hostile takeover match thing at Bash at the Beach. And essentially it ended with Kevin Nash powerbombing Eric Bischoff through a table off the stage. If you want my opinion, this was WCW. They kind of technically could say they fired the first shot in the Monday Night War on May 27th, Memorial Day of '96. But I say this was the actual first shot at it in the Monday Night War. Was here. Because this is by far the most historic moment of this show. It's actually on the OMG Volume 2, this moment. I think it's moment number 2. I think it's one of the top 3 moments in WCW. So, it's the most historic thing on this show. It's a non-wrestling thing, but it's a historical thing in that case. So then we get the WCW World Heavyweight Championship match. The Giant versus Lex Luger in a 2-star match. Nothing really special. Giant wins after a choke slam. So out of 45 stars, this show gets a 17.5, which is a C- range. So it's slightly worse than 96 or the 95, but definitely an improvement on 91. In fact, most of these Great American Bash are an improvement on that. The next Great American Bash will be Great American Bash 1997, which hopefully I do not have the problem out of that I had out of Slamboree 1997 with WWE Network. Which, in case you're wondering, has only happened to me on 2 shows. WrestleMania 20 and Slamboree 97 is the only time I've had a show, any show, do that. So I'll watch so that'll be uploaded when I get done watching it. If I can find all of it on the rest of it on YouTube, I'll watch it there. But if it does that. But if you like the video, this will be in the Great American Bash review series. If you like the video, like button is down there, subscribe button is down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.